Hello, everyone. Reverend Dr. Katie here. I hope you're doing just great today. And I want to talk to you for a few minutes about what happens when your spirituality, when your journey, maybe even your relationship with Jesus, as Christians, that's really important for us, is tied to dogma, is tied to an old belief system that no longer serves you. This can happen in so many ways. It's something I have experienced, not probably, it's something I have experienced. I know it's something that a lot of you have experienced too, because you told me about it. And it's something I witness, and it's something I love actually helping people kind of sort through. So what do we do when we have these old belief systems? And I kind of see it like as a house of cards. It's like you have your base foundation belief system, and then you stack on top of that, and then you stack on top of that, and then you stack on top of that. It's like one thing comes along and you can just kind of blow down that whole house of cards. And that's really frustrating when that happens to you. It's so disorienting. Creates what I call cognitive dissonance. So let me give you an example of how this may happen. You can fill in the blanks for, for however has been true for you in your experience. So that this could take the form of, hey everyone, this could take the form of you grew up in an environment, whether it's household, church, culture, whatever, everyone was doing their best, but you grew up in a culture where anyone who saw angels must be, fill in the blank, they must be crazy. They must be really seeing demons. Those things must not be real. And this is a pretty actually gentle, soft example. We could even get a little more serious. Anyone who speaks with disincarnated spirits or senses them or senses something energy around them, they must be themselves demonic, or it's not real, or they must be communing with demons, or they must be possessed, right? So you see, you have the thing that you believe and then the consequence that's a result of it. And so that's what we call dogma. That's a particular kind of form of dogma. And it's often very fear-based. It's often very shame and guilt-based. And it's often not looking beyond the surface. That can be a really, really knee-jerk reaction. And again, sometimes with really good intentions. So I don't want to knock anyone that has taught this, grew up with this, because, it's good intentions. But the consequences, the impact is sometimes way bigger than the intent. And this happens a lot. The consequences are much more far-reaching than the intent, which is to stop someone from whatever it is. Okay, so we have this belief system that we grow up with, and then when we start to experience the metaphysical world, when we start to experience energy, when we start to experience this kind of radical healing, and we know it's not associated with any of those consequences, with any of the dogma that our background said that it was, it can be like this whole mind loop, mind map, cognitive. So it's what I call cognitive dissonance. And it takes a little while for your mind to wrap around what I used to believe, the experience I'm having that's really different from what I used to believe. And it takes a little while. Now I forgot which hand was which. Okay, your mind is here, your experience is here. It takes a little while for your mind to catch up with your spirit. So I do want to encourage everyone to have a little patience with yourself. But sometimes the mind never comes and catches up with the spirit. And that's where the real problem is, because then we're living in a constant state of cognitive dissonance. Like, oh my gosh, I'm experiencing all this amazing thing. I'm experiencing energy. I'm hearing this. I'm seeing this. I know, I want to know more. But when the mind stays trapped in the old belief system, that can be really debilitating. That means we're never getting these two things a chance to meet up in the middle. And that's really necessary for our journey, right? That's necessary for our spiritual and metaphysical journey. It's necessary for our faith journey. We should always be expanding, right? We should always be growing in our understanding and our relationship of Jesus Christ so that we can always continue to expand outwards. So we never want to collapse inwards to rely only on old belief systems that aren't serving us, right? We should always be integrating those into our new experiences and learning to trust our intuition so that we can continue to grow more and more and more. And I believe that Jesus came to teach us so that we can continue to grow more and more and more. Jesus did not come to teach us to shut us down, right? To keep us small. Like, God does not intend for us to remain small in any way, shape, or form. Okay, so when the mind and spirit are not meeting up, here's mind, here's your spirit and your experience. When they're not meeting up, they're just like at war with one another. And what does this do to you? The most common thing that I think happens to people is that they experience a lot of numbness. It's like you're experiencing every emotion, guilt and shame and excitement and like all this overwhelm all at once, and you just kind of shut down. So sometimes we think numbness is the absence of feeling, and that's actually not the case. Numbness is the experience of too many feelings, of too many emotions all at once. And so then, like, the more your buddies here aren't getting together because they're in this cognitive dissonance, the more you're experiencing this overload, this overwhelm. You're probably feeling other people's feelings. If you try to tell anyone about it and they're negative, you're experiencing their feelings about you. Oh my gosh, it's just all too much. So you're going to experience numbness, and then it's hard to step out of that and disentangle all those feelings so that you can actually move forward. So one of the things that I love to help people do is to detach from the old belief systems that you had and embrace the practices. So embrace really specific practices that allow you to feel whatever you need to feel, that allow you to process whatever you need to process, and allow you to find joy in your spiritual life so that you can have a union of these two. And the union is really what we're all about. I don't think that Jesus came to earth for you to feel constantly for weeks, months, decades, that there's no place for you, right? Jesus came to establish community, to give us life that we might have it abundantly. And when we can have a union of our mind and spirit, then we're able to really soar, we're able to expand, we're able to get to new heights, and we're able to serve others. So when your mind and spirit are not in alignment, when they're constantly out of alignment and they're never moving forward, here, I would switch from hands to fingers. When they're never moving, when your mind is never coming up to your spirit, then you're always in the same place. Have you ever had the experience where you fall asleep reading a book and then you open up and you're on the same page and you read the same paragraph and then you fall asleep again and then you open up when you wake up and you read the same paragraph, you never move forward? I'm a big reader. That happens to me more frequently than not. But you don't want your spiritual life to be that way. You don't want to always open up on the same page. You want to get to this new level, and then you shake it up again. And you're like, oh, well, what else am I going to experience? It's going to challenge a belief system that I used to have. And then you do it again. So I'm kind of off screen, but you do it again. And then your mind goes here, and then your spirit follows. But establishing that pattern of your mind and your spirit meet up is absolutely essential to your spiritual growth. If you don't do that, you're always going to be reading the same paragraph every single time. Every single time. And that can be deadly. It can be numbing. It can be just life-sucking, soul-sucking. It can really be soul-sucking, and won't ever help you propel you forward to where you want to be. You're going to find yourself in the same emotional loop, in the same physical reality loop, in the same kind of toxic people loop over and over and over. So something has to change in order for you to be able to do that. We often think what has to change is up here. We think it's in our mind. That's actually not true. It's in the body, it's in your practices, it's in the spiritual life that you begin to lead, and then your mind follows suit. And that can be really, really a helpful realization, and helpful to be guided along that pathway. I watch people do it every day. I see them transform. I know it's possible. It's possible for me. It's possible for the people that I serve. I just love watching it. So I'm going to pause just for a moment, look at comments, questions. If you have any, speak up now. If you happen to be watching this on another platform, come join our Facebook group, The Metaphysical Christian. You'll find us, just type that into Facebook. We'll be the only group that pops up, and join us. We have almost 5,000 people in here asking the same questions as you. So, hey, everyone. All right, I'm seeing some affirmations, some hello, some yes, this happens over and over again. And yeah, the cognitive dissonance is real, but it's also solvable. It's also completely solvable. All right, everyone. If this is resonating with you, just reach out to me. You can private message me. Let's talk about getting you out of the rut of mind and spirit not having union. Let's get them into union. And let's take those first steps. There's no reason to wait anymore. Don't stay like this for weeks, months, decades. It will not serve you. It will not help you serve anyone else. You know, that's what I'm here for. That's the whole reason I established the group, to help everyone with this kind of thing, get you in the place where you're really in flow, where you're in union. And it's a beautiful place to be. And once you do it once, you know you can repeat that pattern over and over in your life, like over and over and over. It is the gift that keeps on giving. It's wonderful. All right, so just reach out to me. You can private message me if you're on Facebook. If you need to email me, just email me at Katie. That's Katy. The Y is really important. I'm not an IE. Katy at katievalentine.com. And I would love to hear from you. All right, everyone, have a blessed day.